Graphic Design, New Media, School of Design. So this afternoon we have 3 alumni from GDNM School of Design who will share with you all. We have Fanny Marcelina Suhendra. She is the second batch of Binusian. And we have Damba Permata Sakti. Is she already here? No, not yet. Yeah, Damba.
Not yet.
I'll introduce Damba later when she comes.
Yeah.
Batch berapa ya, Will?
I don't remember, but I think she's like from 2013, 14, when she entered.
And the last one we have Lavena, ya, Will?
That is correct.
So, Fanny mau langsung aja atau gimana?
Don't you want to introduce a little bit about Fanny, maybe?
Fanny, I think Fanny herself will introduce about you ya, Fanny.
Yeah, I can.
Sudah, dia baru pulang ngajar nih, kasihan.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Fanny.
Okay. I guess good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fanny Suhendra. I graduated BINUS, I think, 2012. So 8 years ago. After graduation, I think I worked as a graphic designer for 2 years. And then I did start my own company that works really with, what is it?
Sorry,
branding.
Wait.
Okay. Whose child is that? All right. And then, we work, I work with one of actually another alumni from BINUS, Feby, right? And we decided to create our own company that lasted for, I think, a grand total of 3 years before we went our separate ways. So Feby went to Toronto to pursue her master degree. I came down to Melbourne. And then when I was, doing my Master of Design and Innovation in Swinburne University, I got offered a PhD position. So here I am, trying my best to finish my PhD thesis. And I'm in my, last 3 weeks before submission. So that should, really explain the lack of clarity. So I'm teaching at this point. I'm teaching and finishing the PhD at the same time. So I'm definitely out of it at the moment. Yes, Ms. Jen, Sir Will, anything else that I should share?
I suppose you could tell everyone here how, I don't know, being in BINUS had affected your professional life or your connection with people and so on and so forth. Essentially just sharing what they can anticipate or look forward to when they go through BINUS and when they graduate.
I think like the most interesting part about, I was in BINUS, very early in the days. I was a second batch, right? So I think I really appreciate the close-knit relationship with the teaching teams as well. So like, as you might all maybe already realize, like it's not like a very big university. So you do get like a closer attention from your lecturers. And I think that's very good in terms of like, building connections and stuff. I got some of, my first jobs is definitely coming from the Miss and Sirs that present here. I also got like, the opportunity to start being a TA, teaching assistant, I think quite early, I think like my 3rd year. And that's when I realized, like I actually really enjoy teaching, and that's what really pushed me to pursue like, a master degree and even a PhD, because that's what's required for you to be able to teach in universities. So I think that's, that's one of the very valuable thing. And not to mention also like, like the opportunity to also work with the lecturers from Northumbria. So yeah, I just think that's definitely one of the benefits of studying with Venus.
All right, superb. Miss Jane, Miss Mita, do you have anything else to add?
Hi, Fanny.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Mita, and I think if you don't mind, you might can share how is if when you study in GDNM, then how it's effect to your master or your PhD or something like that.
I'm not too sure, like, you know, like in terms of like the studies, I think, you know, definitely having like a good solid graphic design background is good, but the problem is my master and my PhD like, you know, are not very closely related to graphic design. So it touches graphic design, but not like, you know, entirely based on graphic design. But I would say having, you know, a close relationship with the Indonesian graphic design industry. So I think in our teaching team at that time, we have Miss Zin, Miss Zinia, and then also Miss Fasti, and Miss Jane, of course, and everyone. So I got some of the link for my, you know, for my PhD participants, and for my case studies through this, you know, like graphic design figures, basically, right? So I think it's just like graphic design, like the skill of graphic design, you can learn anywhere. Like, you know, not saying that Venus is not a perfect place to learn about it, but, you know, technically, if you put your mind to it, you know, people say like, oh, you can learn graphic design, you know, online through YouTube and stuff. That might probably be true, but I still think like the actual, you know, being in a studio with someone with those, you know, advanced experience really give it like, you know, just like an extra thing that will make you a good designer. And that's definitely what you take after you graduate, because, you know, to be honest, you forgot all of the skills. You know, if you're not using it, you forget it, right? So and then you learn more, you know, as you work, you learn more as you know, continue on work, doing more projects. So it's not really the actual technical skills that you know, you keep, but it's the connection to the people, and also like, you know, like the actual experience of doing back and forth, you know, getting feedbacks, getting criticism, maybe a harsh one at that. But that's, you know, like the growing process that you get in Venus is, I think, one of the most valuable one. And it, you know, it goes back to also being in such a close-knit studio, right? We only have usually like, you know, 25 to 30 students maximum in the classroom. So when your teacher, you know, is giving you feedback, you actually got like more than 10 minutes, 15 minutes worth of feedback, which is very useful, I think.
Okay. Jane, are you here, Jane? Jane or Will, do you wanna say something again? When you gonna finish your
PhD?
PhD fun. Yeah, I have questions too, Fanny. How can you survive with your school in this pandemic era?
I'm barely surviving. So as you know, Melbourne right now, it's so, I don't know if it's silly or if it's necessary, but we're in the longest lockdown ever with such a small, you know, number of infections, but we are the strictest city that's in the lockdown in the world right now, even more than the US. So what happened is I can only go out for 1 hour per day for essential things only, right? And it's this been going for 6 weeks, the strictest lockdown. But the easier lockdown has been going on for 6 months still.
Oh, okay.
You know, since March.
Yeah.
So I'm losing my mind. And frankly, like I'm teaching as well, right? So my students are also losing their minds. So I'm really feeling for you guys, like, the new student who has to actually start a new semester online. It's especially hard because I think like my first batch of student, we start the classes in February, right? And then we went into lockdown in March. So at least they have like a few sessions offline. They see me in person, and then suddenly when we move on offline, it's more like, okay, it's like a smoother transition. But when you never see these people online, offline in real life, and suddenly you just have to do this.
Right, yeah. It's kind of hard, I know.
It's very hard. And then it's also, extra hard because we are designers, right? So we are supposed to be able to touch things, feelings, textures. And also like like studio class should be just like a student working and you walking around, and then giving feedback organically. It doesn't happen, right? So it's just a struggle for everyone, really. And it's more of a struggle because people keep saying, well, you're supposed to be finishing your PhD, so lockdown is good. I was like, no, I actually need some excuse to go out. But yeah.
They think when you have lockdown, then you're gonna have more time to do that.
No, exactly.
Actually,
so
no,
I was supposed to finish in September, like the 5th of September, but I don't know, it just doesn't happen. So we extended it to the 5th of October. We lied to so many people to be able to extend it for another month. Anyway.
Okay, Jane.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
Jane?
Yes, funny. It's very, very hard right now. So the study is right now all online, online study. And of course, all of us got struggling.
Yeah.
Actually,
so,
sometimes
like,
we don't know what to do in this pandemic era. I mean, all is webinar.
All is
it
webinar.
enough? What do you think, Fanny? Is that enough for you to have to get webinar?
Well, it has to be enough, right? At this point, so it's less about what is enough or not, but it's more about what's necessary. And at this point, like, we just have no other option. So I think what I struggle the most with my students here is engagement, because of course it's hard to just pay attention to a screen for more than, I don't know, 30 minutes. I think like most of you guys already are bored right now, right? You want to do something else, and the computer is full of wonders. You can actually just go to another window and do something else. So engagement is very difficult. But I guess like it really comes back to each and every one of you, right? Like it will pass, like this period will pass, and then we'll go back to campus, we'll go back to classes. But this is also one of the most interesting periods.
We're taking
like,
that out first. Tall but scary.
Yes, Aulia.
Yes, I'm here.
No.
Funny.
Some students are just speaking. I thought there was a question.
Yeah. How Funny, how do you think about graphic design in the future, Funny?
Graphic design in the future is very bright. Like, I think I went into a conference just the other day, the graphic design online conference. It was supposed to be in Brisbane, and I think like a lot of like policymakers and like government sectors, they're all very interested, and they're very keen on understanding how design can help them create a better world. So it's not even just for like campaigns, it's not even just for products, it's for systems as well. So UX design is definitely on the rise, and they are looking into even like prototyping, like looking into ways of sophisticatedly and conveniently creating prototypes for different kind of applications. So I think graphic design is definitely on the rise, and it's going to continue, especially when, you know, after this pandemic, when everyone realized um, that things needs to work out digitally as well. So definitely a lot of openings for websites, online platforms and such. And, you know, it's not only the graphics that's needed, but also the system that needs to be designed.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah, miss.
What do you want to other that you want
No,
to?
so all of these students, they haven't been in campus yet, so they just started
Yes.
the entire semester online, is it?
Yeah, everything is online right now.
Oh,
We have to survive, actually. Yeah.
Poor thing. So you don't know when you can all go back to campus yet, is it?
For the lecturer, for the faculty member, yes, we should come to Alam Sutra. Yeah. Until now, we have that.
Oh, you moved to Alam Sutra. It's not FX anymore.
Actually,
closed down.
it's not moved yet. The Jakarta is
It's
locked
locked
down
down.
right now. Yeah.
Ah,
So Alam Sutra is in Banten, Jawa Barat.
so that's a leeway. Okay.
So hopefully akan di lockdown juga sih.
You wish. Don't
You
know
just
yet.
want to work from home. Yeah, that's understandable. Okay.
Or Fanny, you wanna tell
Mm.
about your portfolio thing stuff? You wanna
Ah,
share? You don't have
yeah.
it.
I don't have that with me at the moment. Sorry.
That's okay.
There
I
seems to be a question from one of the
Student.
students. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, go
okay.
ahead.
Let me open the chat. How hard is the competitive network graphic design since finding a job? Well, it's competitive, but it's really depending on your portfolio. And don't forget that graphic design work never only limited to like a graphic designer, right? So there's copywriter, right? There's project manager, there's illustrator, there's a web designer, there's UX design. So when you are graduating from a graphic design university, like, you know, a graphic design major, there's actually a whole lot of things that you can do. And I don't think I ever seen a graphic design graduates that, you know, unable to find a job for a very long time. There's always things to do because everyone needs a graphic designer in one way or another. So you can work, like, you know, it's not only limited in like a big advertising or graphic design house. You could also even work in-house in like a certain companies, or you can work in a government position. You can work in universities, basically just, you know, like updating their contents. You can be like a consultant. So there's endless opportunities for graphic design, I think.
I'd like to add a bit about the answer. Finding jobs as graphic designer, especially in times where everything is done online these days. So it kind of ties back to the discussion at the beginning, where you know, we hold all our classes online, and we're studying online, and technically we could learn some things from like videos and such. Yeah, but being in universities like this and having the classes online kind of trains you guys now to work with people who are not in front of you. So I mean, like, you can say that this is like the effect of the pandemic, where everyone has to stay at home and do things online, but it also opens up possibilities. Think about now, if you can learn graphic design, if you can do these design classes online, that means that you can also work as graphic designers online, which means that technically you could work, you know, find jobs in countries or cities that you don't even live in at this point. You know, like let's say Fanny there in Australia, and if you know, technically, if you apply to that university, you could stay at home in Jakarta and still attend her classes. So what, you know, like, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
this kind of flexibility and locations as graphic designers, I think opens up also the market for jobs as graphic designers in the future. Just make sure that you guys take advantage of these online classes that we provide, you know, like the consultations and the access you have to the lectures and the such. Use this and train yourself to work with people online. Who knows, maybe in the future you can work as designers for clients, you know, all over the world. Anyway, yeah, next question.
Okay, so design career-wise, are there anything you wish you'd known since you were still in uni? Well, you know, I think keeping a good time management is a very good thing. So sometimes in universities, because you have this kind of like, you know, well, you can just stretch it until the deadline kind of thing, right? Like some people really does that, especially designers, and you just like stay up the whole night and finish up the thing last minute. But when you're working, it's just, you know, like it's not just your grade that's on the line, right? It's also like the satisfaction of your clients, etc. So definitely, if you can keep the discipline of working, you know, according to the timeline since your university days, it will be much easier for you to implement that when you are working professionally. Another thing I think that, you know, like, to be honest, like in Indonesia, we're still quite weak with the research bit in each and every one of our projects. So there's a tendency to only look at some inspirations online, like visual inspirations, and, you know, just like implement that in your own design. But I think, you know, making a good habit of doing an actual research, you know, trying to find out as much as you can about the subject or the, you know, the object that you are learning or you are creating or you're designing will be very, very good practice to have when you're working, because basically what we're selling is ideas, right? And ideas need to be backed up by facts. So if you're making a good habit of doing, you know, good research when you're in university, it will be such an advantageous thing to have when you're working. What is the phrase or the force that motivates you to go to March PhD? Oh, the force that motivates me, I think, is just, you know, I'm already this, you know, I'm already wet. I'm already so deep in the PhD and in the research. I need to swim. If not, then I'll sink. For my PhD, I'm researching about the role of graphic design in social and political campaigns, right? So I'm taking case studies from Indonesia, actually, from the Jokowi previous campaign. So I'm looking at, you know, whether graphic design is actually influencing how people engaging with the campaigns, right? Because right now, you know, like commercial campaigns has a lot of graphic design in it, because most of them are worked by, you know, advertising agencies. But with social and political campaign, which are worked by non-profit organization or government organization, often graphic design is overlooked, right? It's only be seen as the packaging that that, you know, that decorate the campaign nicely, but it was not really involved in the beginning, in the processing, in the creation process of the campaign. So I'm looking into that, and I'm looking into, you know, whether, you know, we as a graphic designer have a bigger role than just, you know, a decorative service, basically. What do employers look most in the portfolio? I think they would, you can't have a portfolio that will fit every employers, right? So when you're applying for a job, if you're applying, I don't know, to Caravan Studio, for example, so like, you know, digital painting, right? So you will have to have a portfolio full of illustrations, digital painting styles in specific. If you are applying to work as a graphic designer for Uniqlo, then you might need to have maybe some experience in photography, right? You might need some experience in creating a website design or digital content. So it will really depends on where you're applying for work, as I say, and it will really depend on what you like as well. So as you know, you're still very early in your design journey. So as you go along, you will find out which one you are most interested in. Maybe you ended up liking typography classes a lot, so you want to go more into a publication area, or you ended up liking drawings and illustration a lot, so you want to go more towards like illustrations. So it really depends. So there's no telling at this point. And then by the time you're graduating, it will be like what, 4 years from now, 3 to 4 years. So it will change, definitely. So we can definitely have this discussion again when just before graduation.
So funny. You actually went to Swinburne, right? Swinburne University, yeah.
Yeah.
That you want to take the master degree in Swinburne. And then after one semester in the master class, they offered you to take PhD in the same university. Do you have what's your tips for the your juniors here to get like the scholarship that you had?
It's definitely talking to the right people, right? So I got my PhD just because I want, actively involved in things, right? So there's like what is it? Like a graduate night or something where you just like, linger and then like talk to lots of professors. And I met these professors that teach me my research methods class, right? So we are discussing it's a mini research at that point, like, because it's just like one unit from a master degree, right? But I was so enthusiastic about it that she asked me like, do you want to do a PhD instead? Because I have a slot. And I say, is it free? And she said, you don't have to pay for anything if you were doing the PhD. So I'm doing it because I don't have to pay for anything, right? For my master, I need to pay. So yeah, so we ended up drafting my proposal, I think, in a grand total of 2 weeks. So we created a proposal, we, applied to Swinburne Graduate Services, and I got accepted. So that's basically it. So, just be involved. Job in Australia or Indonesia that is booming currently, definitely UX design, UX website. Go Swinburne. When are you coming to Swinburne, Sarbayu? You were saying you're coming, but you're not coming.
Yeah, later.
I already find you the professor and all. You just have to call him.
See, why? I taught you many times.
Right.
Bye. Come on, bye.
PhD.
So it's 2:30 now. Yeah, I think Damba is already here. Yeah, Damba, are you here?
Yay, I'm done.
So Fanny, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
very
so much for your sharing. Yeah, so
No
nice
worries.
to talk to you here. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a good sleep, Fanny.
Yes, I will. Bye.
Damba, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
So,
hello.
yes, Will.
Yes. So Damba, I know because I've taught her.
Yeah.
What year did you start university? In Venus.
Sorry.
What
In
year
Venus
did you?
in 2013.
13. Okay.
Started in
So
2013.
okay. So as we asked the same thing to Fanny before, can you tell us a bit about your experiences studying in Venus and what the students because these are new students. What can they
Okay.
expect from learning in BINUS, and what can they expect, in terms of what will happen while in university and after that, if you could share.
Oh, okay, sure. So I would like to say hello. First of all, hi everyone. Hi new students. It's really nice to see you. I think you know what I really like about BINUS is the fact that we got an opportunity, like a great opportunity to explore a lot of things, especially during the first year. I would say we are pushed to do everything in traditionally in terms of material and stuff. We got to learn things from the beginning, from the very basics. So if you guys pretty much new to the field, then don't be afraid to explore and experimenting with a lot of stuff. I want you guys to expect good criticism from the lecturers, and the lecturers are very knowledgeable and they're very nice. They will tell you or give you feedbacks that might seem to be harsh sometimes, but take it as a good criticism, basically. And after graduating, it is actually not, well, I'm not saying that it's not really hard to find a job because you are from BINUS, but then it's a plus to be graduated from BINUS because they would think that BINUS is pretty much great in design and computer stuff, pretty much. And by learning in BINUS, it really helped me to actually go through my life here as a master's student in England.
So you mentioned something about learning all the basics and the such. Yeah. BINUS, as Fanny also mentioned earlier, we have a good ratio between students and lecturers. And you also mentioned that the lecturers are relatable and the such. Is it something like because communication, right? It's the ease of communication between the lecturers. And do you want to say more about that? Like how does it compare to where you are now, for instance?
For me, it's really easy, at least for me. It's really easy to communicate with the lecturers because the lecturers are actually putting their time and thoughts towards our work, our things that we're doing, because they're pretty much open. And once we are actually talking to them, they would help us to narrow down our ideas and then try to give you some references and ask you to develop the things that you're actually looking at even more. It is actually really helpful. And compared to where it is here, as a master's student, they tend to give the opportunity for us to do whatever we want. Even sometimes we're confused at the time where we just don't know where is it right or wrong, but maybe it's just because it's master and we have the opportunity to explore everything on our own. But then in BINUS, you are not going to, I don't think that you're going to experience that yet. The lecturers will walk with you and walk through things that you don't understand. So it's really nice to have lectures like that in BINUS. They are really helpful, basically, and very knowledgeable and reliable in a lot of things, even when they're not very familiar with the topic that you are actually doing, then they would help you to find references and sources to help you to finish and create the things that you are making.
Miss Jane, Miss Mita, do you have anything to add to this? Bye.
Hello, Damba.
Hi, Miss
Hi.
Mita.
Yeah, my name is Mita. Nice to meet you. Just wondering, how big is a gap? Yeah, a gap about the knowledge about the about the skill when you learn in GDNM and then you move to the England?
Okay, so about the skill itself, what I've been learning in Venus are all very helpful. It really helped me to develop my specialism here in the UK in my master's, because Venus has given us so many opportunities to learn and to understand a lot of things. It really gives me such a good background here. So then when I need to, and I got, for instance, a problem to solve, then I know exactly what would be the options of solving that problem in particular, because I've learned traditional design, material, even digital. I've learned UI UX as well. Then now here I can easily implementing those skills. But then what I'm doing in master is more like giving the great ideas and how is it relevant to the problem. But then all the skills and everything, I had it already, so I don't have to learn things from the beginning. Just pretty much like think about the ideas and then do the research, support it with facts, and that's pretty much it.
So you really like your master, right?
I really do, actually.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
enjoyed
okay.
it. And so is my BA.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
my
yeah.
BA times for sure.
Okay, it's really nice to hear that. So, what is your next planning? Maybe you go to PhD or?
Well, I'm thinking about that.
Oh,
I'm thinking about that.
okay.
But I'm not really sure though, because I need to go back to Indonesia first,
Uh-huh.
because I got a full scholarship from Indonesia, from Dikti.
Oh, okay.
So then
Oh, that's
I have
right.
signed
Yeah.
and I need to go back to Indonesia and then contribute for, I'm not really sure, a year or two, and then I can just go to study
Okay.
again or to work abroad.
Okay, maybe you can tell your here how did you get the scholarship from Dikti?
So I got the scholarship from Dikti by searching basically, and then I applied, and then knowing that I also worked in Binus as a teaching assistant for quite some time. I started my teaching assistant journey since my second year in Binus, and they were actually really interested on that because not many people actually pursuing that in that early year. I started when I was 19. Thank you, Miss Jane, for the offer. And then they're interested on that particular journey of mine. And then we talked, and then I did the test. I did the interview, and then I showed them my portfolio. I've actually planned to take masters before I got the scholarship. So whether or not I'm getting a scholarship, I will still just go here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they informed me that I got the scholarship about a week before I depart from Indonesia. So it was just a blast, and they sent me everything, like the things that I need to sign and everything. It went very quickly, and then it happened. That's pretty much it from research, basically.
And this is your last year or?
In England, you can finish your master's in 1 year. So I'm pretty much finished.
Okay.
I'm waiting for my graduation.
Okay. Oh, congratulations. So
Thank
you
you.
have to come back first, right? After that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Then
need
you
to
have
come back.
yeah.
So
then you gonna have the, what do you call that? So you're gonna have the commitment to Dikti or something like that, or how? What?
not really. There's no commitment to Dikti, but to Indonesia for a year or two.
Oh, okay. So you have to work after that, after your graduation, you come back.
After I graduated, I'm actually planning to come back to Binus.
Oh,
Miss
yes.
I would love to. I would love to.
Very
So
welcome.
everyone, I'm going to see you guys very soon.
You are very welcome.
I would Oh, thank you, Sir Bayu. I'm hired with Smita. That's what he said. Yes, I would love to come back to Binus, and
Sure.
hopefully I could also apply to other universities as well.
Yeah.
And I would also always, like, as a graphic designer, at some point you will be a freelancer. And I don't know why, but it's something that I really like because you tend to get new clients every month or every week. And the things that you're going to work on is just completely different things. So I would not be bored of the things that I do, which is graphic design and photography as well.
Okay,
So
so
it's really nice.
your master major is a graphic design also.
Correct. MA of
Okay.
graphic design, yes.
Okay, sounds good though. Bayu, you wanna say something, Bay?
I would like to add something
Okay,
about what she said earlier. Damba was saying like, oh, in Binus we had this and this and this, like during her time in Binus and bachelor's degree. I learned so much about I think that every single one of you students need to remember that Damba is one of the good students, yeah, and she got all this because she made an effort to get as much as she can. There is she's very proactive from the first classes that I've taught her. She's very proactive. She's very eager to learn and such. So what you guys need to remember that universities are very different from high school. So if you're not proactive, like you can tell from the way she speaks is now, I'm looking forward to, getting my PhD and teaching and stuff like that. You know that she wants to learn. And the key to getting where she is now is not going to Venus on its own, but going to Venus and then using that advantage, taking advantage of the lectures and the facilities and such, and being proactive, like I said. So again, just because you're in Venus right now, it doesn't mean that you will, you need to be actively participate in these things. Anyway, yeah, bye.
Bayu? I think you cannot speak now. Jane, do you want to say something, Jane, to Damba? No, Jane? You cannot hear.
Hi, Damba.
Hi, there you go.
Hi, Miss Jane.
When are you coming back? When?
Soon, huh?
When?
Soon?
I'm going back in November.
This coming November, yeah. So how bad the situations there?
So
In Newcastle, right? Yeah.
No, I am in Coventry. It's in the West
right.
Midlands.
It's in London, yeah.
Not really. It's a small city near Birmingham.
Okay.
Birmingham.
Maybe around an hour and a half from London. And the situation in here is not too bad, actually, because this is a student city. So there's not a lot of students right now. They're deferring to next year. It's a small city full of old and grown-ups, basically. So the population is not that much, and the cases is not that much either. There's no one on the street. It's not locked down right now. It's at ease already, and it start, going back to new normal. It's not going back. It's starting to do the new normal thing, but you'll have to wear a mask. It's not too bad. It was actually quite depressing during the first month because I was actually doing my dissertation and I wasn't able to go to the library because it's closed. I cannot print anything. I have to contact my professor through online, and we have to wait for quite long hours. I still had some of my classes as well during that time, and it was challenging, but now everything is pretty much back to normal. So it's
okay.
I survived.
I think there's some questions on the chat.
Okay. What kind of event did you do in Venice? Oh wait, there's some.
There's another.
What is the biggest blunder you faced so far, either while freelancing or while you studies? I think during my freelancing is actually finding a client, because there obviously sometimes where you can't find any clients, and what you do is try to contact your friends. So you have to have the links. Don't forget to do networking. You are living in the world where you cannot just be you in your small room and everything. You have to be nice to everyone, not just with the graphic design students, but try to engage with other students from other major as well, because they sometimes will give you jobs, and that's the thing that you need. And then for during my studies, sometimes you got a creative block, and that is normal, but you have to get through it and just try to go outside. Or if you can't go outside in Jakarta, try to, read books. I know it's very nice to see things on Pinterest, but try to read more books, graphic design books to be specific. Order it, read it, and then come back again to your homework, and then try to just sketch. Sometimes it also helps to get everything on your head, on a paper, and then you can do other things, take some rest, and then see that again in a couple of hours. Then you can sometimes find the things that you don't like to be somewhat workable. And, you have to be on track in terms of timelines. Don't wait until last minute. It's not recommended at all. So that's pretty much it, I guess. And then the next question would be, during your time in Venice, when is the toughest phase? For example, maybe it's the first semester, making friends, not being able to make projects to your liking, and how do you overcome it? Okay, this is actually a very interesting question, because I've actually write something like a cheat sheet about that as well. Sometimes so you're going to do sketches, and during the first day of a project, and you'll be asked to do, I don't know, like 10 sketches, 50 sketches in a day. And then the lecturers and you are going to pick the best sketches of yours. But then sometimes your lecturers did not pick the one that you like. And my suggestion would be, do not throw your favorite idea away, but keep it. And then you can do that sketches, you can make that sketches into an artwork that you like, and then keep it as a portfolio of your own. So you will be satisfied. And then the sketches that were chosen could be great. It also give you options, and then a space, or things for improvement as well. It is actually really good for your experimentation, and to see how actually you like the style or not. It is pretty much like that. And I think the toughest phase in university life was my third year, I would say, because I was juggling between university and internship. So I have to work in-house in one company, and then I have to also deal and do my homework. And that would be the toughest. And for the first year, it would consider as the second toughest, I would say, because you have to transition. I mean, you will be transitioning, you as a student, and learning in university environment where it's just totally different with school. You don't have to wear uniform, you can wear anything. It's also a challenge for me to get up in the morning and not knowing what to wear. And then it would be a good transition of your life where you can just literally choose whatever you want to do, because there's no one will tell you you cannot do this and you can do that. The lecturers will will leave it up to you. If you want to come to class, go to class. If you don't, then bye-bye. Say goodbye to the absence. And I think that is one of the challenges of the first year of the uni life, because no one will tell you what to do. You can do whatever, and you have to be very disciplined, and otherwise you'll be left behind. And what kind of event did you do in BINUS? I actually did not join a lot of clubs. I did join a photography clubs, but I actually participating in other events from other clubs, and that is really nice experience for me as well. And I didn't not only do design, I tried to take other roles as well, because in real life you sometimes need to work other than just design. Maybe if it is needed. I was a secretary of BINUS International Basketball Club as well. I learned so much in there about the system and, organization, even though it's basketball, but then I joined and it gave me something as well, even though that it's not design, but then it could enrich your knowledge about the real life situation, I would say. What are the tips to adapt to new environment? Be open-minded. You have to be open-minded. You can also be an open book. Be friendly. You don't have to be the one who it's actually quite a challenge, but you can always be that person who said hi first. I think it really helps. It makes you look friendly, and hopefully you'll find good friends to get through all this together, because this is very different. I know that doing it offline would be so much easier, but then we don't have any other option. So I think the best way to adapt to a new environment is be open-minded and be friendly, I would say. Do you have any suggestion on books design you mentioned previously? I mean, I have some list of books. Maybe I could share it with Miss Jane or Miss Mita later, so you can look it up. I have a list, and I'll for sure send it to Miss Mita. Okay, do you participate in any competition in BINUS? What kind of competition? I actually did not join any competition because I was just too busy doing my homeworks, and I have no time to do competition. But I do events, if that makes sense. Just events. It's for fun. But I didn't do any competition during my study in BINUS. Also you mentioned about being a teacher assistant. How does one be a TA? How? To begin with, as Sir Will said, be proactive, be I don't know how do you guys how Miss Jane sees me, because she was the one who offers me. Maybe I was that one person who actually willing to share my ideas, my knowledge to other students when they need feedback from peer feedbacks. So most of my friends would ask me, what do you think about my artwork? And then I would give them criticism, like a constructive one. So that's pretty much something that maybe Miss Jane sees back then, that, she is pretty active with their friends, and I'm the kind of person who are actually willing to put thoughts on others' artworks, so it could help them to make it better, something like that. Sarbayu says you can apply once you are on second year. Yeah, I was lucky enough that I got offered, but if you want to, then you can apply for sure. Why would you say that working abroad is more beneficial than working in Indonesia? Working abroad. So basically, I just want to clarify it. I am not working in here, but to work abroad, it is actually very beneficial. So then you can see things in a lot of like different perspectives. They would have completely different way of seeing things, and they're very outspoken most of the time. So then there is no such a thing as basa-basi, or they're very direct. It really helps you to be objective and be true to what you see and how you respond to things. And the other benefit would be they will pay you a lot of money.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Oh, someone is interested to be a TA. What was the most challenging thing you have had faced after graduating, and how did you overcome it? What would it be? To be stable in terms of, because you are again transitioning from a student to an adult, and then things gotten really serious in there. I would say finding a job would consider as challenging as well. If I did not work as a TA, then I'll be a freelancer, full-time freelancer, and that would be something that is quite challenging as well. You know, basically as a freelancer, it would be very challenging to find a client in a daily basis, because you need to work and things are just so uncertain. That's why I keep my TA job on. What website method did you use to get customers? I mean, I don't use website. I use my networking. Usually my friends give me some works and they offer me clients and stuff like that. But it is actually, now it's very easy. If you post your portfolio on Instagram, there would be some clients would hit you up and slide to your DMs and say, is it possible for you to collaborate with us and something like that. I actually collaborate with a clothing brand in here. It's not a big one, it's quite new, but it was quite interesting how things goes. I would skip posting on my second account on Instagram. It's my photography portfolio account, and then they hit me up, ask to do some shoots basically. So you can definitely use your Instagram because it's a really great platform nowadays. It's very complete and easy to use. Everyone uses Instagram, but if you can have websites, then you can do that as well. Any other questions?
So there is no more questions for Damba.
Oh,
and
there
it's
is. And anything you wish? Oh, anything you wish you'd known earlier in your studies? Well, I've done my research. I've expected a lot of things, and those things came to a realization. It came true. So I'm not sure if I have anything that I wish I knew before I studied. But I wish I read more books though. That's for sure. How do you set a price to your work as a freelancer? How? There would be what is it called? There would be a class called entrepreneurship, where you'd be taught to calculate everything, and then to price your your artwork basically. So I actually using that method to put price on my artwork, and how hard it is living in the UK from living cost to communication. In terms of, well, living in the UK is very convenient, I would say. We could just walk to wherever we want. We have trains, bus, and everything. It's very convenient, especially for students. About living costs, I chose one of the cheapest one, but it is actually quite close. It's only 5 minutes walk from the campus. And how hard it is for the communication, I think the hardest one would be the accent that they have in here. But and sometimes you are, they're very outspoken. If they like your artwork, they would say it, and if they think it's trash, and they would definitely say it too on your face. Like, that's crazy sometimes. And I had that one moment where I was explaining my concept, and they were like, my lecturers were like, that's not a concept, but in my mind it's a concept, but they don't see it as a concept. But it's just really hard because everyone has their own thought on things. There would be some gaps, like knowledge gap and everything, so then you have to explain your subject or the things that you're looking at more than you usually do. And then what else? From living costs, well, since I have everything set up from the scholarship, then there is no problem with living costs basically, but the communication problems sometimes occur. Do you have any books recommendation about graphic design? I'll send a list of graphic design books to Miss Mita, so then you can look it up later on. What about transportation? For example, you want to go to a restaurant about miles away from your dorm. You have Uber here as well, so you can Uber if it's too far. Okay, is there any more question, Miss Mita, Miss James, or Will?
For me, is what is the hardest time when you're in the Venus and also in the England now? I mean, like, yeah,
okay,
maybe you can say like in the first year is going to be really tough, or maybe just the last year is going to be tough. I
think for most students, the first year would be the toughest because, as I said, it is a transitional area where you evolve as a person, and you are actually, oh wow, this is an art school, a design school, then you have to learn all the basic all together at the same period of time. It would be very overwhelming sometimes, and there are some students who look very, I mean, they seem to do it easily, but then there are some students who felt like, oh my God, this is so hard. And it's normal. It's totally normal. Everyone has their own starting point. You don't have to always compare yourself to others.
Yes.
But you can definitely at a time, then there is a point where you have to compare, so you are not left behind. So you have to be balanced in everything. Basically, you have to be fair to yourself as well, because back then I didn't study art before I got into Venus, and it was quite tough for me to go back and take my brush, take my pen and sketchbook, and then do everything, juggling between one class to another, one homework to another. It was just hard and tough. But then this is your chosen major. You have to love this and you have to get through it, because no parents would suggest their children to go to design school. Like, it's your choice, and they've given the opportunity and they've paid for it for you. So you have to be driven, motivated. And I know there's just maybe sometimes where you're so fatigued and feel demotivated, but then again, you have to remember that this is something that you chose, and this would be something that you like, and you have to do this in the maximum effort. And then for the toughest period here, I would say again the first semester, another transitional period of my life, because I'm here so far from everyone. This is actually my first time studying abroad and not coming back to Indonesia for a year. So I've been here for 1 year straight. Missing home hasn't, well, it has been a problem for a couple of weeks. And then once the class started, I need to go to the library. Library is not something that I usually go to. Even in Venus, we do have libraries, and I went to libraries, but not every day. But here, I need to go to the library every day to get some books to read. And to read is actually a hard thing for me, because I've been used to look up on visual references on Pinterest. It's just something that I used to do. But here, if you're just showing some Pinterest inspiration, then it's not something that would fascinate your lecturers. In here, you don't say that I want to make this, but what you have to say, this is my idea and this is why it's good. And here is my research, and this research will support the things that I want to make. Why is it a good idea? Because of this, 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 and this. And it will solve this, 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 and this. And I need to get to that point by, I don't know, in a week or so. And I have to have like stacks of sketchbooks, and it was actually quite challenging. And going back and forth to library, and there was that one time I didn't go home because I couldn't find the things that I want to, that would support my ideas, and it's just very hard. And I have to talk to the libraries to get several books for me. So it's quite a tough journey at first.
But after that, you're gonna go smooth, right?
Yes, correct. After that one semester, I know how things done in here. Then I was pretty much ready. But the first year are mostly the toughest. And then once you are on your last semester, then it gets harder again.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I knew it. Okay. Will, Mr. Will, Jane, can I say something?
It's already 9 minutes past 3. It is great that we have you here, Damba, to share with your juniors. Stay healthy and safe ya di sana. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
For sharing stories, experience you're living there. So
it's good seeing you again,
the
man.
next students is the next alumni is Lavena, yeah.
Okay, thank
Lavena
you.
Esperanza.
Thank you.
Lavena.
Bye.
Yeah,
Thank
bye.
Bye, Namba.
So Lavena is the first year students, the first batch, yeah, the first batch in GDNM Pinus. She is now in France because she's raising a baby, her child, who's still a baby, and because of the time difference, Fena cannot join us online now, but she sent her voice recording, yeah, Miss Mita?
Yes.
Miss Mita, can you play
Sure,
the audio that's sent by
hopefully,
Lavena?
Yeah. Let's try, okay?
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Lavena and I live in France.
Yes.
15 months little girl, as well as running my own business, Lover Stories. Lovebird Stories basically provides the custom design for weddings and intimate events through invitations, stationeries, day of details, styling, as well as gift and hampers. I do believe in creating one-of-a-kind pieces, something personal and meaningful for each couple. A little bit of background on how Lovebird Stories was born. So back then, I studied my final year in Newcastle, and I earned my double degree from both from Business International and Northumbria University. During that time, I was the last batch who was be able to apply for 2 years post-study works visa in UK. Lucky me, so I moved to London, started with the internship and got a job in Analog, London, a fashion, jewelry and accessories e-commerce company. Then they offered a sponsorship after my visa was over. It leads me to 6 years time of staying in UK. And I also met my now husband, and we decided to move to France after the marriage. Like most other multicultural cross-country couples, our immigration process was a little bit of shamble. But I went back and forth between Europe and Indonesia. But luckily, I got involved more on my wedding design projects. From one project to lead to another project. I'm able to work remotely, and my clients come from mainly from Indonesia and other countries like Australia, Singapore, UK, and France. Most frequently questioned, people have asked me, a common one is like, if you live in France, so who's taking care of your business? Well, mostly I handle everything from here, such as maintaining inquiries between clients, printing, the production team in Indonesia, and also contacting suppliers if I need to build gifts and hampers during seasonal period like Christmas, what's the last one, the Lebaran and Chinese New Year, for example. So it's quite tricky sometimes, but it is possible. For me, studying a graphic design in Business International and went to Northumbria for a double degree program. It was a huge and a best decision ever in my life. Not just because I gained a lot of skills I need for now, and like if you want to open a business, you can, because you're capable to do mostly everything. Like you can do the design, you advertise your own product, you take your own photograph, you make your own logo, branding, packaging, your website, and most important, the flexibility to work anywhere you want. And remember, I'm a mom, a full-time mom, and I'm only be able to work during my daughter's nap time. So sometimes I just feel like I just want to go to sleep. prefer to go to sleep. So you gotta work on something that you really love and you're passionate about. So it'll be all worth it. It's like if you ever heard a quote saying, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. So that's all my experience. I hope it won't be too long. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you for your time. And yeah, thank you for your time listening to all of my experience. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Jane, it's done.
Okay, so that's it. That's the 3 alumni that we have today to share the experience with everyone here. And I hope the takeaway from this experience today is that if you want to be considered the best, students, or you want to get the most out of your experiences from Venus, is that you have to be very proactive. You need to ask questions. You need to contact lecturers. Remember when Damba said, when you come in university first, the lecturers are going to say, you don't want to be in class, then I don't care. You just, you miss your attendance for today. Uh, I think she's referring to my class, because that's why I say to students all the time, you come into classes or you don't. It doesn't matter to the lecturers, but it is your responsibility. So be proactive and take responsibility for your time in Venus. We will facilitate you. We will help you get the most out of the classes, out of the university experience, but it has to come from you guys. That's it. Ms. Mila, Ms. Jane, would you like to add any last things? Miss Mita, Miss Jane, any last words?
Jane or Dila, maybe you want to
Oh
say
yeah.
something?
Okay, referring to there is one question here. How do you get a visa? That was a recorded voice of Lavena. Yeah, Lavena was one of our alumni, and I passed through your question to Lavena, and she was saying about the visa. The first all is visa PSW tier 4, and then by the government, it has to apply 2 years working after graduate. However, if you want to contact directly to Lavena to get to know her personal experience after graduating from BINUS, you can contact her through her IG. Because the visa things, it's quite complicated and quite long. She responded to me about the sponsorship things, the tier 1 and PSW thing. So I will revert to contact directly to Lavena, and you can see, let me share her. Okay, guys, can you see it? This is her IG. Yeah. This is the business that she shared through her voice, how she dealt with this, how she started this business and kept going this business from France, while her clients mostly in Indonesia. So you can open it up, this IG, and you can contact Lavena directly. You can DM her directly through this IG, because I have sounding these things to her. Okay, I think you can just open it up and just contact her directly. She will happy to respond whatever the question related to her visa or other things that you might interested to know about her business. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you, Dil.
Yeah, I think yep.
Okay, I think if there's, because we already present 3 alumni, Will, Jane, are we gonna?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's already 3, almost 3:30.
3:30.
Yeah, thank you for joining us here today and
Yeah.
share.
See you soon on Monday.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.